Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.
Hello and welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you're joining us here on Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Ruth Ellen Sanchez, and I will be your host today. Also, I need to get some little housekeeping out of the way. So this program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results may vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you have options available. Also, if somebody referred you to this program, please make sure you get back with them because they will be your first point of contact. Today we have Dr. Randi Shannon joining us today. I'm very excited, and let me just tell you a little bit about her. We are thrilled to have Dr. Randi Shannon, a naturopathic doctor whose innovative approach to health has made her a global phenomenon. Known for her ability to detect early diseases through facial and tongue and fingernail analysis, Dr. Shannon specializes in natural protocols that have helped countless individuals reverse challenging conditions. You might also recognize her from her extensive media appearances, including shows like Sean Hannity and Coast to Coast AM. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Dr. Shannon on with me. I'm very excited. I missed the last time she was on with us. Hello, Dr. Shannon.
Hello, internet world. I love our Facebook family coming on here. So, thank you so much, and very excited to be on here today. I don't get to do shows like this too much where we're broadcasting to all of those platforms. So I actually really do enjoy that. Hopefully a lot of people get a ton of information from this today.
Yes, I'm sure we're going to get lots of questions. And speaking of questions, if you're on here and out there in YouTube land, yeah, I'm the one that always posts stuff, or Rumble, or Facebook, please make sure to ask your questions early, as Dr. Shannon does have a hard stop at 4:00. And if you're in the Zoom room with us, please make sure to raise your hand and ask your questions early, or put them in the chat, and we'll do our best to get them from that platform. All right. So are you here to talk about with us today?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure if this is your debut. No, you've done it before. You've been
a couple times.
Okay, this first time with me. Got it.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm just excited to answer, questions that might be coming in. I'm sure people want to hear a little bit about my face, tongue, and fingernail analysis, maybe, and what all I have going on. Did you have any questions right out of the gate for me? Anything in particular you wanted to talk about?
I do not, and I forgot to check my calendar because it tells me what the topic is. All right, so
it can be anything.
I know, I'm sorry. truth on the surface is what I published out there on the different things.
That's it. That's actually a great title. I guess, just to get started for those that are maybe just seeing me for the very first time, my expertise, I am a naturopathic doctor, and, there's a lot of different modalities out there in the holistic world, and everybody kind of has their favorites or things that they like to do. But mine is the face, tongue, and fingernail analysis. I look at other body parts as well. I call those other marks of concern on the body. And I work not only in all 50 states, but 20 countries, as far as I know, around the world have reached out for my services. And I look at those body parts and they tell a story. And if anybody goes back to a past call, I've talked about it, where if you take a tree and you cut it in half, you can see, and we learned this as small kids, if you look at that tree, you can see what it was exposed to, whether it was fire or pestilence or flood, whatever. The story's there. And the story's in fossils. It's out there. And so our faces are no different. Fingernails, tongues, necks, ears, things that show up on the legs, the arms, all of it is telling a story. And so my field is, I look at those and I triangulate, if I'm looking at a tongue, okay, do I also see it in the face? Do I also see it in the nails? To figure out the severity of an issue also. And so from that, I'm seeing kidneys, livers, intestines, large and small, heart, spleen, lymphatic system, you name it. All of these things are showing in the body parts. If they're eating gluten, if they're eating oils, how bad is the damage? And, this will tell you, is this person on their way to a stroke? Am I going to say they're having it today or tomorrow? Absolutely not. Do I diagnose, certain diseases that start with C? No. But I can see the signs. And then we put together protocols to help reverse those things. And there's tons of testimonials out there. I never ever claim a cure. It's not even legal for me to do, but number one, more so over any of that, I don't cure a person. I don't do that. The body does it. The brain recognizes when you give it what it needs, and it says, oh, wow, okay, I can go back to work now and I can get working on that problem. And the body is the part that does it, not me. It's just I have a lot of expertise when it comes to what are those organs? What do those organs need to eat? What do they need to function so that they can actually work properly in the body? That's my specialty. That's my expertise. I know it forwards, backwards, and in my sleep. It's a love and a passion I have.
What drove you to this passion that you had? Like, what was the moment that you just decided to take this journey?
Well, I'll tell you, going through naturopathic school, you do learn a ton of other modalities. And I didn't love a ton of the other modalities. I felt like they still had a bunch of questions at the end of the day. And if you talk to naturopathic doctors out there, a lot of them are, well, what do you think about that? I'm in groups of naturopathic doctors and I'm continually seeing them. Oh, I've got this issue. I don't know what to do about it. Or my client has this issue. What would you do? And they don't know. And of course, medical doctors don't know because they're not taught anything holistic or naturopathic in nature. They have, and I've asked 30 different medical doctors how much nutritional study / supplemental study / what it takes to actually help reverse these things naturally without prescriptions or drugs. And they will tell you less than an hour. And I'm talking some of the best trauma ER doctors on the planet. Same for parasitologists, same for any field that you go down with a medical doctor. And if somebody took way longer, please throw it in the chats. Let us know. But what field was that? Because I've never found one, and I've been doing this a long time, and I've never found a medical doctor yet that had more than 1 hour. So
Yeah.
when I was going through school then, they touched on this modality, barely. And when they did, I was like, wow, now this makes sense. This can really work, and this can blow out of the water all those other modalities. And so when I did my clinicals, this was the part that I love the most, I excelled at. And I just found like, wow, this is so exciting. And this is what is going to actually get true remedy for a client. And I don't call them patients, if you notice.
Yes.
That's the MD world, and that's fine. They can call them that. I just call them a client, because a client comes and goes. Mine come and go, because we get the issue figured out, and then they're off. They're on to their life. And they'll do some maintenance things so that they don't fall back into that problem, whatever that problem was. And then we're good to go. And we're friends. I actually get along with all of my clients. Like, I don't think too many medical doctors get along really well. And the thing about me too is, when a client comes to me, basically I see them once every 30 days. However, if they need something more, or I want them to do a little bit of an extra program, like let's say fasting, I'm on with them daily. So even though at my website, when it talks about my packages, it'll say, how many times that they meet with me, we break that rule all day long, every day. Yeah. So we don't hold anybody to that. I've never had a client in 15 years that we ever held to, listen, you can only talk to her once a month, and if you're going to need to talk to her again, you got to pay again. No, we don't operate like that. So, and I think that's why our clients, one of the main reasons why our clients, love what we do. So,
yeah, because if you were charging them all those extra times, you're in it for the money, and you're not in it to help them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And listen, I like to pay my light bills, and I like to pay, my rent, and, I have 4 sons that have all grown up. I got bills just like everybody else. So there is a certain sector of society that does believe, well, you have the knowledge and you really need to just give it away for free. But, does the engineer do that? I mean, he's got bills, and nobody ever expects that of him. And at the end of the day, yes, I have a lot of knowledge that I could give away a lot of things for free. And I will tell you, I do more pro bono work. I would say $250,000 to $300,000 a year in pro bono work. I do. I don't go into it in detail. I don't advertise it, but when I see needs, it's done. Okay. And my assistant knows that. We work together on these things. So it's just not something I'm out there advertising. I don't talk about it. But so there is plenty that I do give away, and those people are grateful. It's the ones that expect it, that have an attitude at me right out of the gate, that I have a problem with. And I do understand suffering, and I do understand wallets and budgets and all of that, but they gotta, the problem is people that come at me like that are also not considering my budget, I feel like sometimes that there's that certain sector that could care less if I lived on a street, just as long as I gave them what they wanted. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
I do know.
Yeah, I have to, survive too. And, but I'm not living in one of those, I live in Miami, and there's a lot of really big, amazing houses. I'm not in one of those. Okay. So this is a background behind me for anybody that now says, and that's just because I'm covering up, my office, my books, that sort of thing. So, but I give, and I'm a naturopathic doctor that actually cares that the client gets better, and we're in it together. And I'm the kind of doctor that holds their hand. I'm just not there once and done. And I do deal with a lot of clients that begin with C and end in R, so that they're not confusing that with the ones that begin with C and end in D, what the country was going through recently. But that's probably my biggest type of client. And they're so thankful that they have a naturopathic doctor that holds their hand through every step of all of it. So, you know, and I pride myself on that. I really love what I do, and I love my clients.
That's good, because that is an extremely difficult journey.
Yeah, it is a difficult journey. And, you know, even just in the last literal 2 weeks, I've had 2 people that are very close to me diagnosed with that, the one with the C and ends in an R. Okay. And that was very gut wrenching to me. That, I mean, they weren't on my protocols, so it's not like there was anything preventative being done. But when it hits close to home, it's like, you guys have no idea. Like, I get on my knees, I get on my face. God, please, you know, bless these hands, bless what comes out of this mouth, and make sure that I am doing the right things to get these people to where they want to be, total healing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's like I don't know if can I say about that guy, Bill, who drops mosquitoes? I think he dropped one somewhere. I'm getting like completely attacked by one while I'm doing. I think everybody knows who I'm talking about. Anyway.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. And so are you ready for a question?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. AJ?
Hey, Dr. Shannon, thank you for being here with us today.
Yes.
We're extremely thrilled that you came back. I have a question. I know you mentioned the modalities that you work with. You specialize in face, tongue, and fingernail. Now, would the use of iridology be redundant when you're trying to diagnose somebody, or do you get the same sort of identification of problems, or are they special? Are they different?
I mean, I like iridology, and I thought maybe that would be one of the routes that I would go, but I found this to be better. So it's a lot more, in my opinion, and I feel like in my experience, it's a lot more precise. Now, iridology is good, but when you're looking at those charts, and I'm guessing you've seen them, it's a fine line. Okay, is it this, or is it this? Is it here? Is it this far out? For me, it's just really black and white. I know which organ I'm talking about, where it's at, etc. So there's just really no guess in the game when I'm looking at all those body parts. But I do love the field of iridology. I do like that.
Okay, so let me ask you, when you're in the supermarket and you're looking at someone, are you saying, yeah, you got this, you got that, and do you 100%. You have to hold yourself back from?
Well, okay. I try to see if some people are approachable. I see it everywhere I go. And the thing is, in iridology, you're not going to be that close to them to see it, but I don't have to be that close to them to see it with what I do. And so I can instantaneously see issues. And I have told a story, it's been a while, about a time that I was on a flight and there was a pilot sitting next to me. And I could see clearly he had internal bleeding. Without getting into the detail, I could see it. And he was a little bit overweight. He had some ruddy skin, you know, could be an indicator of blood pressure issues, most likely, definitely heart issues. And anyway, I could see all of this. And I was on the kind of flight where I had paid and I could actually still send text messages. I had that kind of internet or whatever. And I was sending some text messages actually to my assistant. And I said, you know, this is what I'm seeing sitting next to me. And he's a pilot. You know, I really want this guy to live a long life. Do you think I should talk to him or not? And the answer came back, yes, for sure. So he was dozing a little bit. And I waited until close to the end of the flight where he kind of sat up and was, you know, fixing everything up. And I just kind of tapped him and I said, excuse me. And because he had earbuds in and, or, you know, earphones. And I just introduced myself, who I was and what I did. And I said, would it be okay if I tell you some of the things that I saw or that I see? And he said, yes, absolutely. So you do have to do it with tact, because you know what? Sometimes people don't want to know. And I've actually run into that as well, and really kind of had my butt handed to me when I did that, trying to help. It was all innocent, but at the same time, sometimes people don't want to hear it. So I had learned my lesson by then. And he wanted to know, and he goes, as a matter of fact, I'm flying home, and I think I was landing in Denver at the time. He said, I am flying home to meet with my heart doctor. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't surprised. Yeah. So I really didn't feel like, from what I saw, that if he didn't do something, that he would have a very long time to live. And I would say he was in his early 60s.
What do you think about the fact that you have knowledge that is not common knowledge, mm-hmm. and the fact that it may seem, because it's not common knowledge, it may seem, I'm trying to word this right,
it's fine,
seem hokey, may seem a little hokey to some people.
I welcome people. Yeah, I welcome people to say that. And there's always, no matter what, going to be that sector in society that says that. But this is 5,000-year-old original medicine. So original, okay? If this could have been debunked, it would have been. And they would literally have to close down all Eastern medicine, because they've been doing this forever over there. And, you know, I've even been told that the way I go about it is even stronger than a lot of the doctors over there anymore, because, you know, sometimes these things get phased out with modern medicine, which is really tragic. So I use this ancient art, and it's never going to change. It's always going to work, and it doesn't change from color of person to color, or nationality of person, or anything. It's the same for everyone. It's literally the same. So, and it's been around over 5,000 years. So if that person somehow has knowledge to debunk it from 5,000 years ago, whoever is listening that might think that this isn't, you know, credible. And the thing is that there's tons of testimonials out there. If anybody just does a Google search on naturopathic Dr. Randi Shannon, they'll hit all my sites and they'll see testimonials. They can look at Google reviews. Those are all real clients. I don't understand some of the systems that are out there where you can pay for traffic and get fake reviews. I don't want any fake reviews. I only want the real deal. That's all I have. We weren't great about getting those things all these years. We just finally, in the last few months, said, you know what, maybe we should start having people give reviews. And it's all 5-star reviews. So if these are real people. If they weren't getting a real result, they would never give a 5-star review. And the only 1-star review is a guy who never came to me, knows nothing about it. And he's one of those people that you just described. That's a naysay debunker, has zero experience or knowledge. And he's the only one who gave a 5-star. He came out of nowhere. Don't know him. He's never worked with me. He knows nothing about nothing. So every one of my clients gave 5 stars.
Well, I know you're tremendous, and I know you're fantastic. I just wanted you to be able to let the people know why they should give you a ring and give you a try.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just wanted you to emphasize that, because you are fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love what I do.
Thank you, AJ. Yeah, while you were talking, I remember a story from, like, I don't remember when, you know, like in Egypt, and they have harems, and no man is allowed to see the king's harem. So they would stick their hands out the door, and they would use the fingernails to kind of gauge, and, you know, maybe look at their face, but that was it. So it's been around for a very, very long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that one of my friends, who's very dear to me, went through chemo, And there was a line on her fingernails, like a half moon line for every treatment that she had. They would just grow through. And every time she got a treatment, that would happen. Like 2 weeks later, you could see it. And it was
The body responds pretty quickly.
it was pretty profound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, people will say things like take a whiskey. Okay, we'll take somebody that has a very healthy body and they have a drink of whiskey because the world says that the gluten in that, for example, gets killed off in the process. Well, I've tested these things on myself. Okay, I'm not such a stickler of a naturopath that I won't do something like that. And so I took the drink of the whiskey and for sure had a sign of distress in my digestive system within literally 2 days, 3 days. I did the same thing. Everybody swears by it, that sourdough bread, that the glutens all get killed off in that as well. Tested myself on that as well. And guess what? Still got the damage.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've tried. I love sourdough bread.
I love it too.
And I get sick. I'm sick for 3 days if I get gluten.
Yeah.
I can't, it's like I stay home. It's just
well, the thing is, girls will say, not everybody is sick, not everybody is susceptible to it. I've eaten it my whole life, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at, and I could get strung up for saying this, but if you look at typically like the Italian grandma, and I love her, God bless her, okay? Because I ate many meals from an Italian, not my grandma, but all grandma's recipes at every Italian restaurant. And when you look at grandma, they're typically big. They've gained weight. Okay. They're robust.
Yeah.
And that's because the glutens have killed off things in the body that then make it so the body is only going to digest or absorb calories, not nutrients. Okay. So the gluten is out there. I ate gluten, not consistently, until about 39 or 40, somewhere in there. And then one day I went to a restaurant and had bread. And the next day, my belly was so bloated out, I looked like I was 6 months pregnant. And I found that I couldn't urinate. I had to go, but it couldn't get out. My intestines were so inflamed. They were literally just blocking the bladder from being able to drain. And so, I was one of those people that thought, no, I'm fine. Gluten doesn't bother me. Okay, not true. And once you actually understand it, that the gluten can't be broke down by the body. And so it goes through our whole digestive system like a wrecking ball. And then when it makes it to the small intestine, it wipes out our absorbers that grab nutrient. Okay. Yeah. And it just destroys them and they die. Thank God, not forever, that they will grow back if you stop the gluten. And when they're gone, you're not absorbing the nutrients that I take. I'll absorb, if I have gluten, I'll absorb less than 2%. If I'm off the gluten and the absorbers have grown back, then I'll absorb 98% plus.
Yeah.
Huge swing. Huge.
It makes a huge difference.
It's not worth it. So, I go to the Italian restaurants now still, but now I'll have the ossobuco, which is just basically meat and not the pasta. And I love that pasta, but at home, I'll make a lasagna dish like crazy, but it's all gluten-free. Everything gluten-free.
Yeah, me too. We get gluten-free ramen noodles and different things. And I'm actually growing, I call it my baby, sourdough starter with gluten-free sourdough flour. And I make pancakes with it. It's really good. Yeah. And it's a new adventure I'm on, fermenting things. But yeah, I mean, I ate gluten my whole life. And then when I stopped eating gluten, I felt better. But then as soon as I ate anything with gluten, it was like my body sent me a signal. And it explained everything that was wrong with me for years, years and years. And so anyway, I think AJ has another question, or hopefully bringing a question in from out there. Hey guys out there on the different platforms, please let us know if you have any questions, because we would love to pick Dr. Randi Shannon's brain. AJ?
Oh, well, this is just a follow-up to what you're talking about with the gluten. Is there any merit to the fact that people are now spreading the thought that it's not the gluten that's the problem, it's the glyphosate and the different things sprayed on the crop?
Because they go over to Italy and then they can eat that bread. They're still getting the damage. They still are. Yeah. No matter what, it does it. And the glyphosate is no good. I've been against that too. But no, this problem has been around long before we ever had glyphosate.
Yeah, it has, definitely.
Yeah.
And Coach Rod says you're a myth buster.
Nice. I like that. Thank you, Rod.
All right. And Marilyn, you have a question?
Yeah. Can you show us some things some obvious things you might see that are wrong? Like the fingernails, the lines in the fingernails, something you identify by observing the fingernails.
So I actually teach a master class. And in the master class, because I don't like to just go, well, there's this one sign, because remember in the beginning, I talked about triangulating. So if I say one thing, I want to go to another area and another area to see it, to double, triple verify. So that's why on shows like this, I don't actually teach what I'm seeing. I will give some ideas of signs, but I don't give an exact of this is this, this is this. I don't do it on shows because I would be doing somebody a disservice. Okay, because then they're going to look at that and go, oh my gosh, I have this, but I didn't get to triangulate it and I didn't see it. I've given lectures, 5-6 hour lectures on products and signs. In my early days, I used to do it. And I would teach people in that short window a lot of things. Now, that wasn't masterclass, but I would be lecturing and they'd be taking notes. And then I would say, okay, turn to your neighbor and look at him. And does anybody, well, first of all, I'd say, does anybody think that they have any of those things? All these hands? No. Everybody felt fine, right? And thinking that they're great. So then I would have them turn to their neighbor and their neighbor would be like, well, I see this and this. And so I would go around the room and on the spot was doing these analyses, and I was pulling out all kinds of stuff that they had no idea or didn't read into it, and or said, oh, but I thought it was this. And so that's when I stopped, because I realized it needs to be more in a masterclass environment so that people aren't doing exactly what I was witnessing them doing in a short little blurb of this is this. They would interpret things wrong. It's got to be in a classroom environment, and I do teach that, and they can find that. I believe the link on the website is thebodycan.com/masterclass. So the class is done and recorded. I've been teaching it for years, but now I've made it automated. So anybody can go there and sign up. The first one, I may jump in there and do live things with them, and even towards the end, because I do like to be hands-on and I do like to make sure everybody understands everything. So it's about 20 hours of teaching. So in other words, not like a 1 second, hey, I saw, what does this line on my fingernail mean kind of thing. But here's the deal. The tongue, the fingernails, they should be, and even telling this, some people are going to be like, well, yeah, mine is that, but may not be. I haven't put my phone in airport mode, and there it goes. Okay, let me shut that down, and I don't know why that rang through.
Yeah, because I say that because a lot of people have the striations in the fingernails. I mean, years ago, I used to go in a mall and they would do like manicures and they'd be like, oh, can I buff out those lines?
Yeah.
I've had that for a while. And there was another thing that people mentioned.
That's not really getting rid of the problem of why that actually
Right.
happens in the first
Exactly.
place. Yeah. You can wax and wax and wax and wax all you want, but that's not going to get rid of what's going on internally.
And there's another one that people, a common one that people say, and it's under the tongue. They say the tongue should not be purple. You not see a lot of purple. It should be a fleshly pink. I just mentioned those because those are the common things that people talk about a lot.
Yeah. When I'm looking at faces, fingernails, and tongues, I will say this, that the tongue and the fingernails, even, you know, we have our skin color, okay? If it starts to get ruddy, we got issues. If it starts, believe it or not, some people's skin turns like brownish, yellow, turns to me, white people with black legs, black arms, black chest, black face, black tongue. And obviously we got a problem. And I'm surprised sometimes at how far people let something go before they actually reach out, or, you know, they're going to a medical doctor and the medical doctor is giving them a drug that's not even remotely putting a stop to the problem. One guy in particular had scleroderma, and he had been bedbound for about I'm trying to think back, but at least 3 years, but I feel like it was even longer than that. I feel like it was like 8 years. And we have the pictures to prove it, from the first day to even the 90th day, he went back to his pinkish color. Okay, so that comes back on grid. It's just, was he eating gluten? Sure. But was that his main problem? No, but nothing was absorbing. If he was taking anything good. And then when they give you the prescription, listen, all of those are Band-Aids and they all have side effects. There isn't anything that you can get, even when it comes to, let's say, an antibiotic. There's side effects to everything. Everything created in a lab that is a DRUG is going to have a side effect. So when it comes to the body parts, if it's off in color at all, whether it's purple, like you mentioned, or red, or, you know, bulging, or there's, you know, any kind of stripes or striations or bumps or ridges and all those things, that means something and you should not be ignoring it. A big one that doctors love to freeze off is the cherry colored moles or the brown colored moles. And, you know, sometimes they'll send them off to be tested to see if it was something, but 9 times out of 10, they'll say, oh, that happens to people when they get older, or it's common. You know, I can't even think of all the, it's age spots. It's just part of aging. All the elderly get this, you know, even the cartilage going away. Oh, that's normal when you get older. Well, it is if you're not nutrifying the body. Okay. If you constantly nutrify the body, which is not that hard to do. And if someone's complaining, oh, it's too many pills, it's this, it's that. Well, it's literally, I have clients, if you guys could see what I deal with clients on a daily basis, that one in particular that is not taking any nutrients. The wife is my client, the man is not, and he can't walk. It took her an hour to get him upstairs last night because we had a conversation this morning. She had to drag him down the hallway just to get him to his bed, and he won't take a nutrient.
Wow.
Doesn't that sound worse than taking a handful of pills?
Yes.
Another one whose spouse passed away literally a month ago. She's on my protocols, doing great, even took my class. The husband passed away, wouldn't do a nutrient, and I even did a full analysis for her, because when you do my master class, it comes with a complimentary full analysis. So I'm looking at the face, fingernails, and tongue of somebody. She chose her husband because she was hopeful that he would do something. And he passed away about a month ago, wouldn't do anything, even when I pointed out all kinds of things wrong. and wouldn't, and now he's gone. And I only looked at him maybe 3 months ago and he wouldn't do anything. So there are people in this crowd that will sit there and say, oh, but it's too much pills. Oh, but I don't like to take nutrients all the time. Well, I have never in my life, I'm 57 years of age. I wish that clock would stop, God, and just like hold still, please, God, I mean it, but keep me alive. But I have never, ever, ever colored my hair. I have always had blonde hair. And then in the last couple of years, it started because I'm working so much. I'm not outside as much as I used to be. You know, and my hair does get blonder and whiter by the sun. Okay. Most people do when they get out. So I just taped a television show 2 weeks ago, and I had to go to what they called the Glam Squad. And, you know, they talked about me brightening up my hair, coloring it. And I said, you know, I've never done it my whole life. It's like literally, I'm not a spinster. You know, never had, it's not like I'm one of those people that says I've never had a drink or I've never this or that, you know, I'm still living life. So I said, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. So I got my hair colored, but as he was going through my hair, and he put a video up about it because he was freaking out. He's like, you're 57? Couldn't believe I was 57. But then as he's going through my hair, he goes, I can't find a gray, not one. So while I'm sitting here doing this show with you guys, I'm actually also drinking my minerals. Okay. And this is what I do throughout the day. And I take my EFAs, I take my vitamins, my minerals, my tinctures, my omegas. I take my my H.G.H youth complex. I make sure my bones are solid, because at 57, for the last 10 years at least, when I look at like my class that I graduated with, and they're already all on there going, woe is me, oh, my aches, my pains. I don't want to be that. And I made that decision a long time ago that I was not going to be that person. And, you know, I've raised 4 sons, and I really don't want to take any prescriptions. And, you know, I tell stories to my sons, and my oldest said to me a month ago, he had me cracking up, and he goes, don't worry, Mom. He's like 35, 36. He said, you're going to have an organic death. So I was laughing because he was like, there's no way me or the brothers are going to give you prescriptions. So, you know, God forbid that day I need some kind of assisted living, and they shove the pills down people. And I don't want that. And it's a fight, because I've had people in those situations. To even get them to be able to take nutrients is very difficult. The family has to fight to have that happen. And then they get questioned. What do you mean it's a vitamin C pill? Are you kidding me? What is this world coming to? We, you know, on here have to take control of that and be more vocal and verbal for our own family members, because one day it's going to be you. And you don't want to go through the things that they're putting the elderly through right now. And it's up to us to protect them from that. So.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. God, that's a whole topic right there.
Yeah.
It really is. All right. So Bruce on YouTube, it has a comment / question.
Okay.
So, he says he's taking the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, the Big Hammer, for 6 years. I've not been sick for 6 years, but yesterday I got the sniffles and sneezing, and I'm wondering why. Is it something I ate?
It could be. I don't know what your diet is. So also the Brain and Heart Pack, it goes by weight. So I'm 115 pounds. I take 1 Brain and Heart Pack a day. But you know what? I go to the gym, and, you know, that daily requirement for me is basically 1 dose of the Brain and Heart Pack. But if I go to the gym, I sweat it out in 45 minutes. Maybe you're out in the garden. Maybe you're working on the mulch or redoing the bricks, or, you know, dragging trees around your yard. You're using that mineral up, and you've got to re-put it back. And I think that's a big problem with athletes is, you know, they might be taking a dose. They're very big on protein, but they really don't take everything else that they need. Or they take products that are super inferior to the mineral drink that I have, that I was just drinking from. There's one out there called Shill. I'm not going to fill in the rest. And when you compare that and the dosing and the ingredients, it's nowhere near what the mineral drink is that I'm taking. And yet that's a huge seller because they had an awesome marketing program. Okay. So that's why people that are listening here that actually work with you, or, work with me, they've got to get bigger mouths, because those marketing programs get people all the time. And it doesn't mean it's good. And when it comes to things that are on, I don't know if I can say the platform that begins with A and ends in N. Can I say the platform name? Where everybody buys?
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay, so on Amazon, if I had to guess, and I have put it to a test, I've purchased products on there that a company said, if you see this product anywhere else, it's not ours. Okay. So I went and purchased that product off of that platform, Amazon's, and lo and behold, the product ingredients were nowhere the same, but the label was identical. The name was identical. The trademark was identical. They were literally stealing every bit of that company. And there's no justice in the courts for American companies that are trying to do it legit. Because you can't get into a Chinese court. And so they're able to get away with the fakes. And they put fillers, synthetics, glutens, all kinds of stuff in those things. So you don't ever, I don't care if it gets it to you one day sooner, never buy it from Amazon, in my opinion and my experience, because they've done studies on this now. I'm going to say, and I could be off on the number, so disclaimer here, more than 70% of the products are fakes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's high.
That's really high.
Really high.
That's insane.
So, and again, disclaimer, I could be off on the number. I actually think it's higher, but I don't need sued. So,
okay.
Gonna say I don't know exactly, but people can do a search online and they can see these studies are starting to come out that this is fake, this is not real, and that there's no justice in the courts. We can't sue them in their Chinese court, so we can't get them.
Yeah, I had a client once who bought Synaptive from Amazon, and he dumped the pills out in his hand and sent us a picture. And Rebecca and I were looking at it, and that is not even close. And even though they changed the tablets, it wasn't even close. It was a completely different color. And he's like, I don't feel good. We're like, stop taking it, send it back. Like, go to the company and get it from Longevity.
What if I was a bad guy and I had to sell all this product and I threw my extra in my garage? I live in Miami. Longevity has a controlled climate warehouse, temperature controlled. But here, my garage is 150 degrees in the summer. So what if that's where I'm storing it, which is not where any nutrient should be stored, and then I go sell it to Joe Public? If a person isn't selling it to you direct from the warehouse, do not buy it. Do not buy it. And don't get tricked by, well, it's convenient. I can have it overnight. I can have it delivered at 4 a.m. I don't care. If it's not direct from the warehouse, do not buy it. You are taking a chance. And my clients in particular, we control that very well, because if they're even considering buying on Amazon, I can't even, is my protocol going to work at all?
No, it won't.
Right. So when they don't get a result and then they're complaining. So we will not deal with that whatsoever.
Right. All right. So Carrie B would like to know, when did you start Longevity?
I want to say initially, if you guys remember the coffee company, they had Java Fit, which I don't know why they parted ways or anything with that, but That was when I feel like I initially started, was right about that time.
Okay.
So what year was that? It's been a while.
I think it was 2017, might have been 16, but
I feel like it was even earlier than that. I feel like it was earlier, but I could be wrong.
the end of 2015, maybe.
Gosh, maybe I was with them before. I had an initial position and was married at the time. And we were very busy in business. And I literally wasn't a doctor at that time. And I feel like that was in like 2004.
Oh, okay.
2003. Yeah. So that one, just with the divorce and everything going on, that one I did let go. And then I went back to school after that and became a doctor. So.
Okay. And then H.G.H, I'm hoping, I apologize if I didn't pronounce that right, is asking, she says, or they say, hi, what's best for adrenal fatigue? I'm having extreme fatigue. Thanks.
Well, number one, I would have a lot of questions. That's just like kind of a pop shot answer, which I can give you a pop shot answer, but is that really to the heart of your issue? I don't know unless I look at you. So
okay.
Yeah, if that person is with longevity or has somebody, I would suggest for sure a brain and heart pack. And they have an adrenal support. That's the best I can do, not looking at you to see, right, is it really adrenal fatigue? Maybe it's your heart. And in that case, brain and heart is going to help, but there's also things that are just far more targeted. A lot of people that, there's a reason why I said my hair guy was like plowing through my hair trying to find a gray, even one, and couldn't find one. The reason that I brought that up is because I've had clients that were kids. I've had all different ages, 6, 7, 8, 9, that had gray hair. They also had adrenal fatigue, but it wasn't the adrenals, it was a heart issue. So that's why I'm saying, whoever's asking that question, get scheduled with me and get a real baseline, and then whoever you're working with can help you place that order.
Okay, thank you. And AJ, you have a question?
Yeah, and as I mentioned to you, Dr. Shannon, the questions will start coming in 10 minutes before you need to leave.
Yeah.
And so our good friend in the UK, Olga, is mentioning that, is asking, is there any advice for perimenopausal hair loss? Mind you, she's part of the family, is familiar with products, knows knows about what we do. Any advice for perimenopausal hair loss?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about hair loss in general. So the brain could care less if you have hair or not. Doesn't care.
No,
I mean, ultimately, we want to have hair, but if you lose it, there's a reason why. So you're blaming it on perimenopause. Is that really the reason? I would say get scheduled, get a true baseline, see what's really going on. But I'm going to give you guys a visual. If you're in an accident going into shock, okay, anybody, all of a sudden, what happens in a shock situation? The legs don't work, the arms don't work, you can't talk right, you start talking gibberish, can go unconscious, because the brain is saying, okay, I need all hands on deck, and it pulls all the oxygen and all the blood away from all those areas, which is why you now can't walk or talk or are even conscious. And it's sending it to the most important organ that's in trouble in that moment. Okay? So on a day-to-day basis, the body does that to us as well. So if you're losing hair, what's the real issue? It's pulling nutrient from other locations. Or it's pulling it from the hair and putting it towards other locations so that you can still function. So the hair naturally comes back when you nutrify whatever that problem is. That's where an analysis comes in. What is the problem? We look at that and go, oh, okay, I see you're lymphatic. I see you've got real digestive issues. I see, I can see the hormone. I can see it's systemic. I can see if you have candida to biblical proportions. I can see if there's internal bleeding. Well, what is that? Did you just stub your toe? Or do you have hemorrhoids? Or do you have a bleeding ulcer? Okay, there's all kinds of things. I had somebody come to me with that C and an R issue, but they were in the hospital, okay, calling from the hospital. Their stomach was out to here, filled up with fluids, and had all kinds of digestive issues, etc., losing the hair. So was it really age? No, had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the kidneys and other things where the body, the brain was just trying to major overcompensate and needed all hands on deck, if that makes sense.
That does.
Yeah.
It does. And can you also tell everybody again where to get an analysis?
Yep, they just go to, now if it's the C words, there's different links. I have drop downs. So you got to look at the different, because I have different packages for different people, but the main website link is thebodycan.com. Watch out, because spell check likes to change that. So it's thebodycan.com/schedule. You can schedule yourself there, get on my calendar, or you can call 844-275-1056. That is just where you're going to leave a message. It's detailed because we ask questions on there. And then I or my assistant call you back. Okay. And when we get really bogged down, we bring in a team.
Okay. You have a phenomenal assistant, by the way. I love her.
She is amazing. She can never quit. Never.
Yeah. AJ?
Okay, then just real quick, what do you think about electricity, electromagnetic issues? Are you a proponent of like dependence that we have, et cetera, or?
I have hope in them. I'm not there to see how they're made or manufactured or what they're coming from. Okay. Have I bought one? Yes. Did I give one to my sister? Yes. I have hope in them. I believe in the technology for sure. I believe in sound waves. I created an entire 10, I don't know if I call it a series or whatever, but I had artists create for me healing sounds that I'll give to those C patients, etc., as they're going through it. And they just play it while they're just going about their life, and the body hears it even if you're not paying attention. So do I believe in a lot of those things? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, number one is getting the internal right. And when I do the analysis and I'm looking at those body parts, the focus is to get all of those organs right. And if I got time, I'll try to condense the story super fast. My father had kidney cancer back in 2015. I'm going to give you the quick and dirty of this. It's out in other interviews. My father used to work for Hershey Foods, 8 tons of bad foods, sugar, the corporate meetings. He was an executive. Anyway, they were going to take 50 to 100% of his right kidney. I asked the doctor if he knew anything nutritional. No was the answer. Did he take anything? Maybe an occasional EFA was the answer. Walked out of the door. I said to my dad, do you want to live? Do you want to keep the kidney? Answer was yes to both. We went to work. No matter what, his surgery was 30 days after diagnosis of that. And nothing I could say was going to change his mind. This was back in 2015. And he was just like completely brainwashed into the system. And I love my dad, so he knows that I say these things on shows. So when the doctor came out after surgery, gave the update, they were going to take 50 to 100%. He says, Randi, there was something different about your father's surgery. I knew there had to be because we went nuclear on my dad. Okay. And that's kind of how I do it with my clients. I like to say that I'm aggressive in a positive way, and that's why my clients get amazing results. So Because if I see something, I say it, whether you can afford it or not, that's another story. We'll try to fit it in down the road, but I call it all out. So he said, normally when we take a diseased organ out, it's full of lesions, like it's exploded outward. Your father's was in perfect condition. He said also, and this was in 30 days, you guys. He said, you know, we were going to take 50 to 100% of your father's right kidney. I said, yes. And he said, we only needed 10%. Now, 30 days before, I had seen the screens with the dark spots and the cancer. Okay, I had seen it with my own eyes. I dropped my life in Miami and I drove up there straight through so I could be there for his Monday appointment to see that. And so he said, we only took 12%. So they took 2% extra of the skin and the organ, but he was able to keep the majority of the kidney because we did my protocol. I've had people with 3% kidney function. Doctors totally gave up. Couldn't, the one woman that I always tell her story because her daughter called me and asked me to help save her mother, and she was already in hospice. Her greatest joy in life was to cook dinner for her husband. That was her greatest joy. Beautiful family. She said, can you help save my mother? I said, we'll give it one HELL of a fight. And we did. I kid you not, it was either 7 or 10 days later. The mother went from 3% to like 13 or 14%, was back in the kitchen cooking for her husband. A year later, they sold their house. She was back up, fully functioning, moved to New Zealand from Australia. Okay, so that's the power of taking care of the body. So if somebody is out there and says, it's hocus pocus, you can't this, you can't. Okay, well, go ahead and run off that cliff if you want. You know, I can't save everybody and I can't get upset about the ones that do want to go off the cliff, but the ones that want to live, I'm right there for them through that fight.
That's awesome. And the body can do amazing things if it has what it needs.
That's exactly it.
And if it's treated with respect, like no sugar, no oils, all of the things Dr. Wallach talks about, it really makes a huge, huge difference. All right. So we're at the top of the hour, and it looks like Albert has his hand up. I don't know if you have a time for Albert or.
We'll do one more. Go ahead, Albert.
All right.
Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, Dr. Shannon, thank you very much for talking straight and direct. I don't have a question. I just wanted to compliment you and thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you all. God bless the listeners out there. Make the phone call. Don't sit there and suffer. I've seen the greatest suffering, and it kills me that people don't pick up that phone and go, well, I can do it later. Well, don't. Do it now.
Yes, do it now, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Shannon. We really appreciate you being on and look forward to another show in the future. And if you have to drop off right now, do that. Otherwise, I'm going to just do the wrap up. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If your questions did not get answered, please email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. If you'd like to talk to a certified holistic health coach, you can call 855-949-3377. And if you would like to talk to Dr. Shannon's assistant and leave a message, it's 844-275-1056. This program was not meant to, it was for educational purposes only and not meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any diseases. And it does not meant to take the place. Oh my gosh, I always get tongue-tied. I'm trying to read it fast. The place of your primary care physician. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us. I'm Ruth Ellen Sanchez, the executive production manager and host for today of Daily with Doc and Becca, which is hosted by dailywithdoc.com. And we have as co-hosts today, we have Rod, who is helping out on the different platforms and helps Albert when he needs it. Thank you for joining us today, Rod. And then we have Miss Speedy Fingers Marilyn, who has been typing in the chat and almost every single word that Dr. Shannon said. Oh, and Carrie, I'm going to interject here. Carrie B says, also, Dr. Wallach said that he never found bad kidneys. He found bad circulation and vessels to go to the kidneys. That is true. Okay, and then we have Albert, who is from South Africa, and he's here joining us with Marty, who actually was in his yard, and he got a great picture of Marty, and Marty is live and well, living on there. And he is also, he is letting people in, and bye, Dr. Shannon. Thank you. And he's also on the phone team. So if you call in the middle of the night when the rest of us are sleeping, he will be answering. So thank you, Albert. And then we have Sherry, who is part of our tech crew. And she is taking what I send out and puts it on the different platforms and monitoring things and setting up all of so many things. It's not funny. So thank you, Sherry. And then, of course, we have AJ, who has helped us get to all of the 15 or 20 platforms and onto Spotify and different things. Amazing, amazing. Thank you, AJ. And we want to make sure that, tomorrow is Pharmacist Friday. So we'll be on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs for your Q&A. And have a beautiful day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And be kind. Always be kind and patient. You don't know what somebody else is going through. People can hide their pain and act like everything is great to your face out in the world. Just be kind. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.
Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.